If you are driving in California, there is a single, seemingly innocent word that completely destroys your constitutional rights during a traffic stop, and police officers are expertly trained to trick you into saying it. As an attorney who has spent over 30 years defending drivers in this state, I have watched thousands of citizens accidentally hand the police total legal authority to tear through their personal belongings, dig under their seats, and search their trunks. They do not realize they are doing it because the officer frames the request like a casual, friendly conversation. But make no mistake, the moment you speak that one word, you have legally waived your Fourth Amendment protection, and anything the officer finds from that second forward can and will be used to lock you up. It all comes down to a psychological trap known as a consent search. When a California police officer pulls you over, they usually only have the legal right to write you a ticket and check your license and registration. Unless they smell marijuana, see something illegal sitting out in plain view, or have actual probable cause, they cannot legally search your vehicle without a warrant. To bypass this strict constitutional barrier, officers use a very specific tactic. They will finish writing the ticket, hand back your driver's license, and then right as you think the stop is over, they will casually ask a question like, "Hey, before you head out, you don't mind if I take a quick look in your trunk just to make sure everything is safe, right?" Most drivers are nervous, want to appear cooperative, and mistakenly answer with the word "sure" or "okay." The moment you say that word, you have legally granted voluntary consent, and the legal definition of voluntary consent completely strips your defense team of any leverage in court. Once you say yes, the officer no longer needs a warrant, no longer needs probable cause, and can legally dismantle your interior or search your personal bags. Even worse, many drivers think that if they say "I guess not" or "I don't care," they are being dismissive, but judges in California regularly interpret those phrases as verbal consent. The police are relying on your natural instinct to be polite to completely bypass the United States Constitution, and they will never openly tell you that you have the absolute legal right to say no. To make this trap even more effective, officers will deliberately engage in a legal maneuver called prolonging the stop. Under United States Supreme Court precedent, a police officer cannot legally extend a traffic stop past the amount of time it reasonably takes to address the initial traffic violation, such as checking your insurance or writing the speeding ticket. To circumvent this time limit, they will attempt to blend their interrogation directly into the routine administration of the stop, asking casual questions about where you are coming from or what you do for work. If they can keep you talking and comfortably drag out the conversation until you verbally agree to a search, the law considers that extra time entirely legal because you actively participated in the dialogue, meaning you unknowingly help them bypass the strict time limits meant to protect you. You also need to know exactly how this consent trap impacts your passengers, because their rights are tied directly to yours at the roadside. If you grant an officer permission to search your vehicle, that consent legally extends to all common areas of the car, including the glove box, the center console, and underneath the passenger seats. However, a driver's consent does not automatically give the officer the legal right to open closed, personal items belonging strictly to a passenger, such as a zipped backpack or a purse lying on the floorboard. The problem is that officers will rarely pause to ask who owns what bag, and if the passenger remains silent while their belongings are searched, California courts often rule that the passenger gave implied consent through their silence, expanding the trap to everyone inside the car. If you want to protect your rights, your privacy, and your freedom, you must learn the exact legal phrase to use at the roadside. If an officer asks to search your vehicle, your response should be immediate, calm, and entirely unambiguous. Look them directly in the eye and say, "Officer, I am not consenting to any searches." This phrase is incredibly powerful because it establishes a clear, undeniable record on the officer's body camera. Saying you do not consent is not an admission of guilt. It cannot be used as a reason to arrest you, and it legally ties the officer's hands. If they choose to search your vehicle anyway, after you have explicitly denied consent, your defense attorney can file a motion to suppress, and any evidence they found will likely be thrown out of court completely. The biggest mistake you can make on a California road is assuming that cooperating with an unconstitutional request will make the officer treat you better. The police are actively building a case from the moment their emergency lights turn on, and your job is to protect your record, not to make their investigation easier. Keep your composure, keep your hands on the steering wheel, and remember that protecting your privacy is your absolute constitutional right. If you want to keep learning how to protect your wallet and your rights from aggressive state enforcement, hit that subscribe button right now. Leave a comment below if you have ever been tricked into a vehicle search, and let me know what legal trap we should expose next.